Hey everyone, today we're going to create our first marketing email in HubSpot. And this is an email that goes out to an audience. You might have a segmented audience, you might have your entire database you want to send it to, and it can be something relating to promoting a product. It can be reminders for your subscribers. It can be to help engage people. There's any number of reasons you might want to send an email out. So let's have a look at it and let's create a new email. So let's imagine I'm going to be using ChatGPT as well with this to help us be a bit more creative. So let's start by creating email. So easy. We have a different choice here. We can choose regular email, which just means that we're going to send a one-off email out to an audience, to a list. We've got the automated emails, which are going to trigger based on or send based on a workflow triggering. And we're not going to use that for today. And then we've got blog RSS emails, which are just kind of like sending a summary of your blog posts, kind of like an RSS feed as well, which we're not going to use today. So we're just going to start with the regular. And then once we've got that, we can select from HubSpot's templates that they've already got installed here. We can also choose some other templates. And of course, you can create your own version as well. So what we might do is we'll just start with the simple. I like the simple. And from this, we can always add other pieces in. Then you can always clone this and come back to it as well if you want. So here we have the content. Yeah, we can add in images. Let's say you want to add an image and then you want to add more text like this. We can clone this section here. Let's drag the image section above that text section. So we're going to sort of have text, image, text. And now let's come up with an idea. So we'll jump into ChatGPT and let's ask, come up with a cool business idea for Australia in summer. Product idea, I'm going to say product. Okay, so we've got this solar cooling beach umbrella. A beach umbrella that not only provides shade, but also uses solar energy to power a built-in cooling system. Oh, awesome. This innovative product is designed for the Australian summer, where beach outings are a common activity and the sun can be extremely intense. Beautiful. So it's got a solar-powered cooling system, UV protective fabric, wind-resistant design, integrated hydration alert, cooling mist sprays, etc., etc. Awesome. Okay, this is beautiful. So let's start by making a graphic for this because I'm a more visual person. Okay, so let's grab this image. Let's get it to create something in Dali. Create an image. Cool. Okay, I'm going to say make it more cartoony with people in it. Okay, that is quite cartoony. Okay, make it like anime and mixed with futuristic. Okay, this one looks good. So we'll download this. Let's jump back into HubSpot. Okay, so let's go into ChatGPT and we'll ask it to write an email. Write a promo email about a new product, about this new product that's just about to be released, mentioning the key benefits and features. So cool. Okay, let's let that load. And so we're going to throw all this here. I'll pop the image in here. Let me grab that from up here. Normally I would suggest renaming the text, the name of the image. Definitely change the alt text And it's good to make that the text of what's in the image, potentially some description, because a lot of platforms don't allow images to load automatically, such as Outlook, pretty common. And so the alt text might be shown there instead of the image loading as well. So we've got our image here. We can change the width if we want to make this fully 600 pixels wide. Emails should always be maximum 600 pixels so that they fit into multiple email clients. And if you make it too wide, it can distort the way the email loads in various clients. So I would always encourage you to make it maximum 600. And here we need to factor in the padding we've got here. So it's actually pushing it out beyond 600. So we turn off the padding and then the image should be maximum 600. Let's do that again. There we go. So that'll reach right to the end if that's what you want. Actually, I like the padding. So we'll keep that here. We'll make this 560 like that. That's pretty good. And then it's good to keep in mind how it's going to look on mobile devices as well once it's written out there. Once it's fully set up. So we've got this email here. We've got to get the text in there. Let's jump back to our ChatGPT. And we have the email here. Okay, so dear, name, content. I think we'll put this first and then we'll have the image. Let's just delete this text here and we'll just start from scratch. I'll put it all in from the text in ChatGPT so you can see. And we can see here we've got the text for the first name. So we need to replace this with the personalization token, what HubSpot calls the personalization token, which is the unique, the element, the property or the field that will automatically update based on the contact details that you have saved in HubSpot for that person. So I'm going to make it hello, and then we want to say the first name. We're going to grab this from this little button here, personalization token. We've got to change the type to contact. We're looking at the contact object. We don't want the company information. So we want the contact, and then we want their first name. So we can find that in, drop that in here. You can add a default value just in case the first name there isn't a first name value for that contact. We can either change the global default value, which applies to the whole account, or we can just change it for this particular, we can just use this for this particular token we're adding into this specific email. So I'm going to just make it like, hello there. But you could say like, hello reader, hello subscriber. And then we have our text. So we'll put this on another line. And we'll drop this here onto one other line like that. I'm going to add another line like that. We've got our huge image. And then underneath, I'm going to have the benefits. So we'll delete all this. We'll jump back to our ChatGPT. Why solar beach umbrella? Grab all this. This is a pretty long email, but let's just go with it. So copy that over. Paste. That's great. So I'm just going to clean this up as well. So we're going to go Arial 15 text. I think we like black. I'm going to choose a nice dark gray instead. There we go. Same for this section here. So just to make sure it's all consistent, we've got our Okay. Text is all consistent. Okay, so we've got our dot points. And special launch offer. Interestingly, because I've copy pasted from ChatGPT, it's done a little bit of a weird thing with the colors here for the numbers. So if you did have something like this where the color doesn't seem aligned, make sure you select all and change the color. If that doesn't work, you can click under more and go to the source code. And if you're familiar with HTML and CSS, you can actually change the text directly in the email like this. So we can see here that actually the OL, which is the ordered list, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the LI, which is the individual list, the item, each list item, then we can see the text is only applying, the color is only applying to the text. It's not applying to the number. So if I pull this out here and I drop this in here under LI, we get rid of this span here. Let's have a quick look if that helps things. It's hard to tell, but it looks like that is the right color. Let's go and change that for the other ones as well. Okay, that's good. Let's try and see if that helped. Yes, it looks like it's worked now. Excellent. So we've got our special launch offer and 15% discount, etc., etc. So we've got the Sunny 15 code. I'm going to add a little bit of color to that. We'll make that bright red. And valid offer. Let's get rid of this section. Add some more spacing. Warm regards, Tristan. Okay, we've got all this now. And let's also add a call to action here. So if you want to add a call to action button, you can do it like this. It's got to be a section. So we've got to cut this up again. We can create an official CTA button in HubSpot, but for the sake of keeping things simple for this, I'll just create a link. This color looks reasonably good. I might make it a bit brighter. We still want to make it possible to read though. Let's go like that. And we can, then we just copy this over. We're going to clone this one and then drop it below the CTA button because this is the second section, so that we can have it on either side of the CTA. So I've just got to delete this part and we'll move the CTA above into the gap here. There we go. Maybe CTA is a little bit small. Let's make that a bit bigger. And we'll add some extra padding. And then we've got our discount button there. We might also want to add a link to the image. So let's grab that same link that we put here. And we'll put it for the image in case anyone clicks that. Often people like to click images. And we can say done. So now we've got our email. We need to, all emails need to have a footer with details of the address, your business address, along with the option to unsubscribe and to manage your email preferences. You can choose to have either of these or both, but this is a requirement for many countries' laws around spam protection and also the way HubSpot works as well. So you need to have some kind of unsubscribe link. It can either be an unsubscribe button, automatically unsubscribes them from all emails that they're getting via HubSpot from your account, or it can be managed preferences where they can choose which emails and which email newsletters, let's say, or email types that they're receiving. So I'm going to keep it simple and make it just unsubscribe. You got your office details will automatically pop in here. You manage them in the settings section of HubSpot, but you can also edit it here as well. And we can have our office details there so they appear in the bottom there, or we can also customize the footer and the way it looks as well. So we can, for example, delete section we don't want like this. We can change all the text. Let's say we want to make it smaller. We can do it like so. And you might want to make it like a dark gray or light gray color like that, so it's not too distracting. You can remove some elements of this and it's still okay. Zip and phone number are not necessary, but address, country, and these other values are necessary. And HubSpot will tell you if you remove something which is necessary. Well, actually, while we're here, we should edit this email as well, the name of this email. And so we're going to call this email is a promotional email for, I'm going to say, put the date, so I can keep track. Promo email for solar cooling umbrella. Something along those lines. You have to work out what email naming convention works best for you. And then we go to settings, and now we're going to grab that subject line that ChatGPT suggested, which sounds good to me. We pop that in. Let's do the subject line first. So we've got the subject line here, like this. We can add in additional, personalization tokens. It could say, for example, the person's name or the person's company, and then the subject line like this. You could add in emojis like I've already added here. Up here, so if we go from the top here, we've got our from name, which is the name it's going to come from. You can choose anyone in your company, or you can actually add additional names for the email. The email address it's coming from, you can select, again, anyone in your company that already has an account in HubSpot, or you can add new email addresses in, but you'll need to verify any new ones to ensure you have control over that domain. So if you're using the existing domain that's already saved into your account, no big deal. But if you're adding in a new email address that has a different domain, then you might have to verify that email address to say you've got control of that. Like this, we're selecting it as our reply to address. So it's going to come from this address, and any replies will also go to this address. We can add smart rules, but we'll cover that in another tutorial. Preview text is the text what appears in the email subject line after the in the email line in your Outlook or in your Gmail after the subject line section. So it's good to have a little snippet of the first part of the text from the email, or the most important part of the email, let's say. I might grab this text here. We drop that in here. We've got the name we just updated, the language, the subscription type. So you can have multiple kinds of email subscriptions, or like email types, where you might have some people are added to your just to receive marketing, some are relating to sales, some are relating to certain areas, like maybe certain newsletters. And so this just allows them the option to be able to unsubscribe from certain types of emails without necessarily unsubscribing from all the different emails that your company's sending. You can associate a campaign to the email as well. So like, let's say we're running an overall campaign for this, and we call it like 2401 promo umbrella promo email. Get rid of email, umbrella promo campaign. And oops, we'll delete that space. I'll add that in just because I like it. And then, yeah, you can have to organize your different assets like emails and other things. You can put them under a campaign or associate them with a certain kind of campaign. And you can also add in any of these details as well if you wish to track. Come back to campaigns another time. And then you also have plain text here. So if the user isn't able to open the email so that it shows fully, and they're just viewing it text only, then this is how the email would be seen, just text, which is fine. And then we get our list. So let's say you've already created a list you want to send to, then you would select it here with contact lists. If you wanted to create new lists, then you need to go to the list section in HubSpot. So if we jump to that for a second, I'll just exit this email section under contacts lists. And then under this list section, you can create new lists as you wish. So they can either be static lists or active lists. I've already done a few videos about this in the past, so I'll link to those the list videos playlist. But basically you've got your list you want to send to. So let's select our list. You can also have an exclusion list, maybe you don't wish to send to. So there may be some people that you've decided they're not appropriate. You don't want them to be sent to for some reason. Maybe they've asked to be opted out, but they didn't want to click unsubscribe. You might have some other reason to exclude people from sending, so you can put them here. We'll untick this don't send to unengaged contacts, but this is just a little feature of HubSpot that automatically collects all the contacts that are not engaging with your emails. Maybe they're not opening emails in the last 12 emails you've sent out, or 11 emails. You can see here what makes an unengaged contact. So you can choose to keep that ticked or unticked, up to you. And then we can see here how many people we're expecting this email to go to, it's telling us that 4 people won't be sent to. And that's probably because these 4 contacts have previously bounced. Either they're on the exclusion list. Yeah, okay. Or in this case, they're on the exclusion list. So these 4 are on this list, so they're not going to be sent to. But if it says that 4 recipients won't be included in the emails, then it could be a number of different reasons why. It could be that they have unsubscribed, that their emails have hard bounced before or had a series of soft bounces. It could be that they're on the don't send to list, all kinds of reasons like that. You'll need to do additional research to find that out, because unfortunately HubSpot doesn't really describe why those 4 won't be. And this is also an estimated recipients as well. So keep in mind this sometimes is not completely correct. It's just a good guide, which again is a little bit challenging sometimes, but that's the way it works. We can choose to send the email immediately or schedule for later, and we can select a time and a day that suits best. It will default to your account time zone here. So if you're working from another country, then rather than your headquarters where your HubSpot account is registered, keep that in mind, because this won't adjust to your location. It will always be at least at the moment, it will be the account time zone. So my account's set for Eastern Australia time. So you can see here it's +11 when I set these times. You can also select to send based on the contact's time zone. So if we have a list here of these 62 contacts, we could choose to adjust to their contact time zone. And so, for example, someone's based in the UK, their IP address says, their IP time zone, for example, says that they are in the UK, then this email would stop and it would only send at 1:45 p.m. UK time as well. So I'd suggest it's worth playing around with this. I think it's a really powerful and good feature to use if you have an international audience. But if you're not sure where they are based and you want to make sure the majority of people are going to get it at a good time, then I would aim to send it at a specific time, like so. And I also suggest mornings and early afternoons are probably the best. You want to avoid people being out of their office, away from their desks, and you also want to avoid people being at lunch as well, or packing up for the day. So generally 8 a.m., 9 a.m. are good times, maybe 2 p.m. On a work day. But again, it depends on your product, on your audience and everything. So often you just need to do some experimentation and test. There's an automation tab here too, which I will cover in another session. And that basically just allows you to set up some very simple workflows if you're not using the standard workflow editor as well. So once we've got an email set up, we can send a test email to ourselves and to anyone else in your company. And you can select someone to be kind of like the guinea pig, let's say, for the contact. They're not going to be sent the email, but the email that gets sent to you as the test will have their details added to it like that. And it will appear to come from no reply at HubSpot as well. So you got to keep an eye out for that. And you can also do a preview of the email like so. And we can add in the person like this, and we can see who it's being sent to, how it looks with their name. We can test the links, fake email, so a fake website, so obviously it's not working. And we can see all of that like so. We can see here the subject. And we can even do a test in certain clients as well. So we can select, let's say we can select certain email clients. We can do multiple ones as you wish. You can scroll down and see all of them. There's lots to choose from. And then once you've got the ones you want to check, you can then try to test the email. And then it'll show the email like this as if it's in Outlook. This is Outlook 2016 on Windows 10. We can see how the email looks like this. Not too bad. We can also see what it's like when the images don't load. Like this. So it makes quite a difference, but at least we can see that there should be an image there. So you want to make sure you have some good text description as well, not just an image only email. And so let's go back. So we'll go send now, review and schedule. It's given me a couple of warnings here because these websites don't work. So HubSpot's kind of checked this, found they don't work, which is a really nice little test for you, because obviously you don't want to include links that don't work in your email. These are fake websites, so obviously it's not going to work. But In your case, you probably want to just double check why these are not looking correct. Maybe they're missing a letter or something like that. And we also haven't set up, because this is a demo account, I also haven't set up terrific.digital as a sending domain under this account. So it's warning me that it's going to say a little via HubSpot in the email address as well. So that is something you want to connect up. You want the email sending domain connected up to the account, so you don't have this little via HubSpot, because your audience may not really know what that means, and they want to see the email just coming directly from your address like that. So we can see all the details here: final check, send to, don't send to, etc. Now, in your account, depending on your HubSpot account, you might also need to make all of these contacts that you're sending to, update them as marketing contacts in HubSpot. And marketing contact is a certain classification for emails or contact addresses that you've got, so that you're sort of confirming with HubSpot that you're sending to these contacts, and you're paying HubSpot at the appropriate tier to send to those contacts, and you're not spending money on the contacts you're not sending to. So it just gives you a way. Marketing contacts feature, if you have that with your HubSpot account, it basically allows you to set certain contacts as marketing contacts and certain contacts as non-marketing contacts, and then only really paying for the contacts that you're sending to. So you can have a big database, but only send to, say, 2,000 contacts, and then you're only paying for those 2,000 contacts, even though you might have, 20,000 contacts saved in your account. So you might need to also set that here. It'll tell you a little warning on this page here. It'll say marketing contacts, missing, not updated, etc. So you need to have those 58 or 62 contacts set as marketing contacts in order to send this email out, if you see that warning there. And that's it. Then we click send, and then the email would send out immediately. And then we have the details. And then the final step is you can then go into that email. We can have a look at some marketing emails here. Let's say we've sent an email, and then here you can see, if you click on that email, you can then see all the details about that email send. So you can see how many people opened, clicked, replied, all the delivery information, anywhere they clicked, and all this other detail, which we'll go through in another session as well. So that's how to set up email marketing and how to send your first marketing email in HubSpot and promoting your individual product. There's a lot more to go through here with HubSpot and email marketing, of course, but this is just sort of a beginner's tutorial on how to set it up and how easy it is to set up. Please let me know what your thoughts are. If you like this video, please subscribe to get more videos like this about HubSpot and Zapier and other digital marketing and sales automation tips and tricks. And if this video has been useful, also please like the video so I know something like this is good for you. And feel free to share your feedback and comments below the video. Thank you so much. It's great to have your support, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Okay, cheers. Bye.